Raging anger is echoing off these canyon walls.
This has nothing to do with border security and everything to do with corruption.
Protesters gathered in one of the most iconic spots in Big Bend National Park. They're horrified by the Trump administration's border security construction efforts, which is now being unleashed in this patch of far west Texas.
We are at war with these people. It's a peaceful war, but if you think what we've seen so far is bad, you wait until they unleash holy hell on this place next week.
The Trump regime is destroying one of America's greatest resources. Big Bend National Park is under dire threat right now. Hi, my name is Suri Crowe. Thanks for joining me. Breaking all kinds of federal environmental protection laws, the Trump regime is unleashing utter devastation along the Texas-Mexico border, where border crossings in Big Bend National Park are next to zero. But they are doing this under the guise of border security, and they are waiving all kinds of federal environmental protection laws.
Last week, crews started carving through the pristine wilderness of Big Bend National Park for what's being described as a surveillance road. The Trump administration's plan threatens to dramatically alter the landscape of not just Big Bend National Park, but much of the region surrounding it, stretching roughly 500 miles. The plan involves 5 different projects, costing more than $7 billion. The Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection will build nearly 200 miles of border wall, install steel vehicle barriers, and carve hundreds of miles of new roadways through part of the park's 800,000 acres and beyond. All of this in a sector that officials say only accounts for about 1% of all illegal border crossing apprehensions.
What really appears to be going on here is one big billion-dollar giveaway to Trump supporters in the form of massive government contracts to destroy our publicly owned national resources. $7.5 billion worth of our tax dollars are being handed out as giveaways to Trump-friendly contractors, like $2 billion alone to Montana-based Trump megadonor Tim Barnard and his construction company. And these jobs, thank yous for supporting the regime, according to USAspending.gov, are the largest border contracts in U.S. history, being spent in a place where there are negligible illegal border crossings, and overall border crossings are down substantially. Honestly, who wants to come to the United States right now, period, under the Trump regime?
And to build roads and border barriers, I just want to remind everyone the horrors of what wall construction actually looked like on the ground in Arizona. Now remember, all of this construction will be taking place outside the scope of normal environmental protections, environmental laws. Laws like the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, the Endangered Species Act, the Rivers and Harbors Act, the National Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. All of these laws that normally protect this place have been stripped, and these construction crews will be operating in a national park on a congressionally designated wild and scenic river with no regard for these incredible public lands, for the wildlife that they harbor.
Lakin Jordal is a public lands advocate. He worked at Big Bend National Park, and he now works as an advocate for the nonprofit Center for Biological Diversity, which has filed several lawsuits against the Trump regime for violating environmental protection laws. I caught up with Lakin from the trenches in Big Bend National Park, where he has joined with a bipartisan group of conservationists, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans who are fighting back against the destruction of this natural wonder.
You've been busy literally in the trenches fighting. So just tell us what is happening right now. What's going on?
Yeah, so every day here is a new escalation. We saw the bulldozers show up last week, and they were supposed to give us 30 days notice before they did any ground disturbing activities, but we found Caterpillar D6 bulldozers carving a brand new route through the national park right near Santa Elena Canyon, which is the most iconic part of the whole park. And we were completely dismayed to see this. We already have a lawsuit in play challenging their authority to waive virtually every environmental protection to rush this project through. So we filed a motion to expedite that lawsuit as soon as the bulldozers arrived. And we are fully prepared to seek an injunction if more damage starts to, escalate even more than it already is. But, we've seen outside the park, there are yards of machines that have amassed, that all belong to the contractor that has the contract for the park. Every day they're going to be trucking more of those machines into the park. And we have no idea what the hell they are building there. They have told us that it's border enforcement and security roads, which makes no sense because a lot of these places are right alongside an existing road that Border Patrol can and does use. They say they're building vehicle barriers, but no vehicles cross the border in these locations. Some of the spots they want to build vehicle barriers are across from sheer cliffs in Mexico. None of this is logical. It is all clearly a corruption scheme to pad the pockets of these politically connected contractors and to further this narrative about the borderlands.
And reporting from Scott McFarlane reveals that the Trump regime is funneling money that was appropriated to take care of our national park system to use on his vanity projects, gilded lions in DC, helipads, ballrooms, marble bathrooms, whatever he can gild the lily with for his own ego. During the Biden administration, in comparison, $7.5 million was spent on White House grounds projects. Under Trump, that number has skyrocketed 5,000% to $100 million.
All these parks, they have redirected resources that were supposed to go where Lakin was saying, where trash cans are overflowing, where they have fired multiple park rangers. And they've now taken it and redirected it to Trump and his vanity projects. That is what is happening right now with this government. Just so that you all know, the amount of corruption is mind-blowing. In part, you guys are in court. And where was this originally filed, Lakin? Do you know which court you guys filed, which circuit this was filed in?
In federal court in Texas.
In Texas, okay. I feel like whatever circuit that is usually more Trump friendly. How are you guys feeling about the outcome here?
We're feeling really good about it. The arguments that we're bringing are actually arguments that have been somewhat darlings to conservative litigators. It's the same argument under the major questions doctrine that caused Biden's student loan forgiveness to be thrown out by the courts. Same argument that was used to stop EPA polluter regulations. So basically, it's a pretty simple argument. It's just that once a question reaches a certain threshold of high national interest, which obviously at this point with waivers crossing the entire U.S.-Mexico border, this qualifies as such, Congress has to approve of that. It's pretty simple. And Congress has had many opportunities to codify officially this waiver authority to say that we don't want any laws to apply anywhere along the border. There's actually been a number of proposed laws that would do exactly that, but Congress has never taken it up. So it's clear that this is a massive overstep.
The anger over this plan is visible all over the area. Banners blasting the border wall have popped up everywhere. Local Republicans and Democrats are unified in their opposition to what's happening.
I'd be all for it if it was necessary, but it's not necessary.
Thad Cleveland is the Republican sheriff in Terrell County. He was also a Border Patrol agent for 26 years.
They want to put in vehicle barrier in a lot of this area.
Yes, sir.
In his office, he showed us a map of where the plan in his county is to put about 160 miles of steel vehicle barriers along the Rio Grande. There's only one problem.
And these are places where it's physically impossible to drive a car through.
100%. Makes no sense at all to put a vehicle barrier.
You must be scratching your head going like, what are we doing, folks?
Definitely. I'm very disappointed.
At the beginning of the first Trump administration in 2016, we came to the Big Bend region.
And I want you to tell Donald Trump that we already have a wall. Thank you very much.
And reported on what many feared the new president might bring to this area. And asked this question.
How in the world do you build a wall in this kind of terrain?
10 years later, we're sitting down with the former superintendent of Big Bend National Park, Bob Krummenacker. He says the more pressing question is not how, but why the Trump administration is doing this.
I would say it is one of the most insane and destructive and, yes, ridiculous ideas I have ever heard. I never really thought anything this absurd would happen in any national park, let alone the one I know so well.
And people like Jordan feel deeply about this park, but the point is our national parks belong to all of us. They exhibit a kind of beauty that you just can't find anywhere. That's why people from all over the world come to see Yosemite or the Grand Tetons, or in my home state, the Grand Canyon. And once they are gone and or destroyed, they're gone forever.
Big Ben belongs to all Americans. This is an issue of national interest. Every single legislator should be fighting tooth and nail for this piece of American natural heritage. Number two, if you have the ability, like, come down here and see this place for yourself. I just want to reiterate, like, a huge portion of the park is under threat and could be irreversibly destroyed. But so much more of this place is just so worthy of love and celebration. Like, this is my favorite place in the world. And I think so many people who come down here, they have that experience when they get here. It's impossible to understand the US-Mexico border without spending time here. It's truly the one place left on the whole border that is not overrun by border security enforcement. It's the wildest place anywhere on the border. So much of what we're fighting for, at least for me, on a personal level, is like my ability to dream and believe that a border like this is still possible. One that is not defined by violence and walls and devastation and injustice. And that's what we're fighting for. So I think anybody who can come down here and see this place for themselves and stick their feet in the Rio Grande, they will be forever changed.
So what can you do? Well, first of all, start by calling your representatives in Congress. It doesn't matter whether they are Republican, Independent, or Democrat. Get on the phone and call them. Calls are always the best thing to do. Next, after that, email them. Call them. And if you live in Texas, especially, not only be calling your congressional representatives, but it's critical that you call your state lawmakers too. Right now, there are a group of Republican state legislators who are calling on Governor Greg Abbott to stop this project. So it is truly a bipartisan effort here. This is crossing party lines, which is shocking in this time of division under Trump. But this is truly a do or die situation. We cannot let this happen. They're also doing this in my home state of Arizona, where the Trump regime is blowing down and bulldozing 200-year-old cottonwood trees and centuries-old saguaros, which are part of such a delicate ecosystem. Like, it brings me to tears. Like, I can't, they just destroy everything. ETTD, everything Trump touches dies, all in the name of grift and corruption. I have been following this story. I will continue to stay on it. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below and please take action to do what we can to save these beautiful American treasures. All right, I'll see you back here soon. Peace out.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.